Hey, everybody, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. First of all, happy Father's Day to everyone who is a father or anyone that celebrates. We actually have a father on today doing a cooking demo with his daughter. Today's guest is healthy Emmie. She's been on the show before, first by herself, then with her healthy mummy, and now with her healthy dad. His name is Tim. They're going to be making eggplant sandwiches, and please welcome them to the show. Boy, it's so great when a whole family is healthy together. Nice to meet you, Tim.
Great to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So how did Emmie play a hand in you and your wife getting healthier?
Well, she started a good habit, and we listened, and then started reading some of the things that she brought our way, which really started to make sense. And then Lisa was the first to jump in. Excuse me, we're actually going live here with some of the stuff, and it's going to be hot. So Lisa went first into the world of veganism, and
actually I went first,
okay,
not
yes.
to confuse this.
Well, of those that were still living here, and so it got a little tricky navigating, different meals for 2 or 3 people. So, kind of at a certain point, I just bit the bullet and took a shot, and when I started to see immediate results, and I'm talking like a pound a day. And it was that drastic. So off it came. No, dig in.
Yeah, I just want to give a
little. I can do some work.
Okay, I'll give a little context, a little background. So this was over 7 years ago, I would say. I went on a plant-based diet, and I sent him. I was in college at the time. I sent him for his birthday a copy of the Starch Solution. And I didn't hear anything of it. I just sent it up here. I was away at college. And then I got a call from you on my birthday, which was about a month or 2 later. And you sent me a photo of a number. And I said, "What is this number?" He said, "That's a picture of the scale. I've lost like 20 plus pounds since you sent me that book." He has a background actually he's very slim and trim now, but used to be obese, and through the Starch Solution diet is now at fighting weight, we say. So that's the
college
context. Yes, that's the background. So I went first, then I convinced Healthy Mommy, and then through Dr. McDougall's words, Healthy Dad was convinced.
Well, Tim, that's amazing. That you look great. Did you have any health problems other than maybe just having excess weight?
High blood pressure, which I still do have, and I've tried, unfortunately, to go off medications a couple times, and I have my physical coming up in about 3 weeks, and I'm going to bring it up again to see what kind of response I get from my doctor. But really, other than that, no, just that. So no cholesterol issues, none of that other stuff that a lot of people put up with. So, but
From your highest to your lowest weight, how many pounds?
Well, there was one day it would have hit 60, but
60 pounds lost.
Yeah, but right now it's about 50. So I was 234. I'm about 185 now.
At 6 feet tall.
Yeah, so it's it's been drastic, but it's been good. It's been good. So I'm doing things that at age whatever, 64 and a half, that most people don't do. I swim 3 days a week. I work out 2 or 3 days a week. I golf 7 days a week, cut my own grass, shovel my own snow, paint my own garage doors, which I just finished. None of that stuff scares me. So it's all good.
That's
and
fantastic.
to do the cooking as well. So, and I'll tell you, this meal, if you've ever made eggplant, it's labor intensive. I'd say the time it takes to make versus the time it takes to eat is about 10 or 15 to 1. There's a lot of steps involved. There's a lot of patience, but we'll walk you through and show you how it works.
Yeah.
Great. Do you do most of the cooking in your family, Tim?
Yeah, for the both of us, yes. Lisa, as you well know, she does she has her nursing gig, We eat different lunches. So she cooks for herself for her meals, but I cook for us for our meals. And we're both a little bit king and queens of leftovers as well. You know, if you see the recipe book that I put together anyways, by design, most of the meals I make, I get 2 or 3 meals out of it.
That's the way. That's the way to do it. Have any of your? I mean, I'm sure people like friends have noticed the change in you. Have any of them asked how you did it?
Most of them know, because we've been at it for such a long time. Now, I've been at it, Lisa's been almost 7 years. I was right behind her, so about 6.5. And it's been interesting where, you know, subtly people are paying attention. It's almost like, you know, they don't want to admit that what we're doing is wrong. You know, I was telling Lisa this morning, I went to the Red Sox last night. They didn't do good, but you know, just to see what I call the prototypical American, way overweight, eating the sausage and peppers, drinking beer, and just, you know, all these things that just aren't good for you. And you look at it, you say, I'm so glad I'm not in that particular club.
I'm so glad my daughter is healthy Emmie.
She'll take care of us when we're old. So, sorry, what we're doing, one of the steps here is we try to get some of the liquid out of the eggplant, and there's 2 methods. One of them is the salt method, but we're dealing with, you know, someone who runs the SOS program. So we do it the other way in the microwave. And as you can see, it creates a lot of heat. These get very hot, but it helps get a lot of the moisture out, which it makes the eggplant less bitter. Are you an eggplant kind of person?
I like eggplant. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you do with it.
Yeah, can I give some background?
By all means, yep.
So we grew up in a standard American household, and I have 2 older brothers, and we grew up eating standard American food. And Healthy Dad has always been a very good cook. He would make calzones. If we had eggplant, there'd be cheese on it. We would do baked ziti that had cheese on it. We'd eat chicken. So
pizza on the grill.
We'd have pizza with cheese on it. So we grew up in a standard American household. And then when the crazy daughter went and did what she did, and then everybody transformed, we went from having these standard American meals to, okay, now what? Well, luckily Healthy Dad loves to cook and likes a challenge. So everything was evolved to now be, you know, SOS approved. And his cooking is so good. There are some recipes he holds captive from me only for special occasions. And it's so great because when I come over, I know that I'm going to have a beautifully healthy meal. And all of his meals are in the cookbooks that we just put out. And this is like one of the best, the eggplant sandwiches. So we went from having eggplant with cheese and all this gunk.
Fried in oil.
Yeah. To we do it this way now. So just taking what we used to do and then evolving it.
Wow. Bethany says this is such an accomplishment for both of you. She's never been able to convince her parents in 8 years, but her mom is close. Emmie, you should maybe write a book on how you convince family members to get healthy.
You know, the funny thing that though is convincing. People can't really give a good reason why they can't go this particular route. It's just like, well, this is the way it's always been, so this is the way it's going to be, and you know, it's almost hilarious to listen to these people try to defend what's really is a pretty weak argument. And I'm going to turn around in a second because we have the first batch of eggplant cooking, so I'm going to have to turn it. So Emmie will be running the floor, and then we'll probably start to go through the next steps of how we put this all together.
That's so cool. So not one friend decided to give it a try, huh, Tim?
You've passed around the Starch solution both.
Yes, we do have a friend that he and his wife, I haven't talked to him in a bit, but he was talking about, hey, we've tried it and we actually feel the difference. So, but most of them, no. And again, it's not my job to change their minds. It's up to them.
Yeah.
Duty calls.
What I was going to say is, you know, everything is a cost benefit analysis. And until the cost becomes too high for these people, and they have so many health issues that they have to change, then we'll get there. But it just sounds like the people that we're talking to, the cost isn't high enough, and the benefit of eating those standard American foods is currently higher.
I just think, Emmy, that it's just food addiction, because I think some people really do want to change, but it's just hard for so many people.
It is hard, but once you have these eggplant Sammies, it's not going to be so hard.
Yeah. Well, I have the link to all the books in the show notes, and I'll also put them in the chat. So that's going to be great.
I still think there's a huge stigma attached to veganism for some reason. That makes you weird, like you went to Woodstock and stuff like that. That's what I think.
But Emmy, you have two brothers, right?
I do have two older brothers, yes.
But they haven't joined the plant-based team yet, have they?
Well, one of them is like pseudo-vegan because he's getting married to a vegan. And the other one is just so easygoing. He'll eat whatever's in front of him. And like I said, Healthy Dad's cooking is elite. So it would be hard to sit down and not enjoy it. I truly believe, though, that somebody's health is a reflection of how many whole plant foods they have in their diet. So even if somebody doesn't just subscribe to 100% veganism, you could still be very healthy and live a healthy life because there's so many plants in your diet. You could be 100% vegan and eat Oreos all the time, you know?
We should.
All right, Dad, you want to start the demonstration?
All right, so I just flipped the first batch of eggplant. And what I will say to you, Chef AJ, is I have them, and it says in the cookbook, at 400 degrees for 20 minutes on a side, but I do eyeball it at the end because I don't know about you, but I prefer them a little overdone versus underdone. They've got to be a little crispy, and if they're not, then they'll just stay in the oven a little bit longer. So what we do, how do we want to do this? In what order do we want to do this?
Have you guys ever tried air frying eggplant?
Not yet.
It's really good. It's really good in the air fryer.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. We love the air fryer.
Yeah. So the first thing we're doing is we're going to skin the eggplant. I don't know about you.
Gotta put the glasses on.
And I'm okay, but I've been asked more than once to skin the eggplant. I don't mind the eggplant with the skin on. Which way do you prefer it?
I usually keep the skin on, and often I use, you ever see those long ones that are lighter purple? I think they're called Chinese, or I love those because just, I don't know, they're pretty.
Yeah.
Can I say a fun fact about
Sure.
the eggplant? Can you show the bottom of it? So there's the bottom is either a dot or it's a slit. If it's a dot, it's a male. If it's a slit, it's a female. And the females are sweeter.
Okay.
As in people.
On Father's Day, come on.
Just kidding. I meant the dot and the slit, not the sweetness. That's very, I never knew that. I will now look to decide which eggplant to buy that way. Very cute.
It has the seeds though.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the Chinese ones better. They seem to have less seeds.
I feel like the males would have the seeds, wouldn't you think?
I don't know.
Well, let's see if this one has seeds.
All right. So
Veronica says, I love healthy Emmy and her healthy parents. How wonderful when people are willing to break out and try new things.
okay, so basically you cut them, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch, half inch, 3/4 of an inch, something like that. So there's really virtually no seeds.
And let me just say, we're cutting them the long way, so we're not cutting them into coins.
So what's going to happen now? These are going to go in the microwave for 5 minutes.
And AJ, if while they're in the microwave, if our connection gets messed up, let me know.
Okay.
So now, because we're also good doobies, we do compost all of our peels and stuff. So that cooks. We're going to cook that for 5 minutes. We're going to flip them and then cook it for 3 more, and it gets a lot of the moisture out. So now the next part is we take the aquafaba. So we have a can of low sodium chickpeas. And in the bowl, I have put about 1 ounce of water just to make sure that we don't run out of liquid. And then basically, The aquafaba goes into the bowl. And then we're gonna throw in here is flax seed. We just throw a little flax seed in. As you can see, if you read my book, my introduction to the book, I measure nothing, everything's eyeballed.
In the book, there are measurements,
Yeah.
but in real life, no measurements happen.
So now these chickpeas will be with tomorrow night's dinner. Nothing goes to waste. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving without the turkey. So those go in there. And in here is all pre-mixed, is our panko breadcrumbs. So we've got basil, garlic, red pepper flakes, oregano, and ground black pepper, all mixed into the panko plain breadcrumbs. It's really the only breadcrumbs I could find that have no trace of milk.
Yeah.
Right? They're hard to find, and it's a store brand, believe it or not.
Whole
Stop and
Foods.
shop.
Whole Foods does have very similar. But listen, if you can't find them, you can take bread, French baguette that doesn't have any junk added to it, and make your own breadcrumbs.
Yep. Okay. So it's all pre-mixed, and this goes in the other bowl. Again, everything's eyeballed, really, except for the red pepper flakes, because you got to be careful with the red pepper flakes, because if you get too many, it does dominate and get too hot. So, and that we don't need. So now what we do is this is where the fun begins.
You know, I feel bad making you work on Father's Day. What do you make? Is this going to be your Father's Day dinner?
Yes, it is. Every day is Labor Day. So we got
The sauce. There's one in the microwave.
all right. So what we do is we bathe the eggplant. Okay. We bathe the eggplant in the aquafaba, water, and flax. And then in it goes into the breadcrumbs. And you may have to kind of press it down a little bit to get them sometimes to stick, which they will. And you can see that it's good and breaded. And onto the tray it goes.
Dad, how do you get away with not using oil on the tray?
It works. And you just may have to be a little careful when you turn them.
Yeah, and I think that people would just automatically put oil on the tray because they think it's going to stick. But I think this is the breadcrumbs. It's kind of a barrier.
Yeah. I haven't really had a problem yet. So AJ, we'll show you, I'll get you a close-up when I get these all ready. And these are cooking in we've got the oven on convection settings. We have two trays, one up and one down. And when I do flip them, I do flip the trays as well. I take the top and put it on the bottom and vice versa. So they end up, as far as I'm concerned, cooking about as evenly as you can get them. Now we have to get this out because that's hot. Woo.
Kathy says your dad's a great teacher. So
There is.
what was your profession, Tim, before you?
I was in what the layman would know as the headhunting business. But to us in the business, we called it professional staffing. So I found permanent jobs for permanent people in and around the finance, accounting, and banking business. So like if you went into a bank branch and needed to talk to someone about a loan, a mortgage, or a business loan. I found those types of people jobs.
For how many years?
Almost 32 years. So it was a good job.
Now you got a job. You can get a job teaching cooking now.
I'm good right where I am.
Okay. Well, Valerie says, I love healthy Emmy, healthy dad, and healthy mommy. It's so great. Isn't it great that you guys did it together though? Like, wouldn't it be difficult, Tim, if either only you or your wife were the one to adopt this healthy lifestyle?
Right, because again, again, if you as Yogi Berra said, you can observe a lot by watching. You watch, you take a look and you see what other people are doing, and it's like, oh gosh, it just in some of the books you read, they talk about people and they say, it's not a question of whether or not they're going to become diabetic. They're going to become diabetic. So here's what we got. If you can see, you almost look like fish fillets.
I know.
That's beautiful. It almost looks, I mean, yeah, that looks great. It almost looks like you're making eggplant parmesan.
Well, we are, but we're not. So it's
And to what you're saying, AJ, it's so great for me. I live like 25, 30 minutes down the road. We're over here, my significant other and I, we're over here all the time for dinner because I always know what dinner's gonna be because it's the same thing. Monday's this, Tuesday's this, Thursday, yada, yada, yada. But also it's so delicious and I know it's gonna be a healthy, oil-free vegan meal. So I am like the luckiest person in the world.
Oh my God, that's good. Tim, Angela wants to know when your birthday is. Maybe she wants to get you something.
When is one? January 18th.
January 18th. Nope, she guessed that you were a Scorpio. Nope, it's Capricorn.
Yeah. So it's nice. We'll get a text once in a while. Says, hey, you're having wraps Friday night. Hey, you're doing Mexi Friday night. Hey, when's the next time you're having tofu ginger? All these different things that come our way. So it's good. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a little interlude here, which is good. This is always, this job, as I said, it's a bit of a fire drill because there's a lot that happens and you try to coordinate. If I wasn't doing this, I'd be taking my time.
Don't worry, we love it. Everybody says the eggplant looks great. Allie says, I bought the Healthy Dad book and I love it.
And all those recipes are real. We it's kind of what we go with, and it's good stuff. I mean, some of the stuff in the cookbook, if you've looked at it, like veggie burgers takes a long time to make, but when you make 20 of them and you're using 2 a week, you only have to do it about 5 times a year, which is really nice because when you have the veggie burgers, all you gotta do is take them out and they're a quick microwave deal. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, so he will freeze the veggie burgers, for example, and then on Thursday, do you put them out Wednesday night?
Take them out. So our pasta sauce that we're having today, that comes out Monday night because we have it on Tuesday. It's just kind of part of the routine.
So yeah, but on Wednesday night, you'll put them out of the freezer. So that by Thursday they're thawed.
Yep. Yeah, and they're a minute and 45 seconds in the microwave when we actually make them. But that's very, very labor intensive. So all right, catch my breath. So we get the last part of the eggplant cooking for the last 3 minutes. They're going to come out very hot, so we'll give them a second to cool down before we put them into the aquafaba and then the breadcrumbs. Now, if you're making more than 2 trays, the breadcrumbs, because you're putting this stuff in the eggplant into the wet and then put the wet into the dry, this will start to get wet. So sometimes if you use a little bit less and then kind of start over, get rid of it and start over, because it'll start to get clumpy when you try to make too much with one batch. So it's just something you need to be cognizant of. So
nobody likes clumpy eggplant.
Well, it won't stick. so you don't get the mix on top of it. And as far as the mix, I use, the spices I use is the choice I make. Interestingly, with the sauce that I make, it's bare bones stuff. There's no spices in that sauce. It's really kind of interesting. I've tried some different things and have just found that the method, and you have to buy the cookbook to find out what it is.
Geez, what a teaser. Jules says, why not? Would you like to open a restaurant?
No.
I would love if you had a restaurant.
I'm retired and I like it that way.
Well, I guess this kind of is my restaurant.
Yeah. But yeah, this is, some people's hobbies. Everyone has different hobbies, and this is kind of one of mine. And I like it. I think it's a healthy hobby. It's a good hobby. And it's interesting when we have, we don't know it often, but when we have friends over for dinner, it's a vegan type of dinner. Some people may not even recognize that it's vegan, just because it's normal food and you just don't happen to have any cheese. Or like when we have Mexi, if we didn't say anything, most people wouldn't even recognize that there's no cheese or sour cream or other stuff, that hamburger.
Do you know somebody named Joan? Because she seems to know you. She says if you opened a restaurant, you couldn't golf every day.
Well, if she was listening, you asked me what I do. I play golf every day. So,
well, you should come visit me because I live on a golf course right now. I mean, I'm renting, but literally, I don't know if you can see this. Let me show you. Can you see? I don't know if you can see.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what hole I'm on, but I got to tell you, they hit the golf balls into the yard, and I have this huge bucket of golf balls.
Do you really?
I mean, they're in my yard. I mean, they can't reach in, and so they're mine.
Yeah, that's crazy. But you're not a golfer.
No, I'm not. I don't. I tried. My grandfather golfed, and I tried when I was a teenager. I just wasn't it's a very difficult game, really.
Yeah. It's a great game. And it looks easy, and I always say, you asked me what I did for a living, and what I did for a living was like golf on TV. It looks easy, but it's hard. But it's a good game. It's a game where you call the penalties on yourself. It's the only game you'll ever see where, you're helping your competitors. You help them with how to putt better, or when you see them make a mistake, what they did wrong. It's very interesting. You'd never see that on the football field. They kill you first.
Did you take a golf cart or did you walk?
I'm a walker.
It's funny because where I live, it's a 55 and over community. I have not seen one person walk.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I'll tell you, where I play, when I first started playing over 40 years ago, I would play with guys that were in their 70s and their 80s. And the course I play, you have to walk. You can't ride. There are no carts. So not only do you have to walk, but these guys were carrying their bags. They were not pulling, a pull cart or anything like that. So even up till today, I carry my bag because I said, if these guys can do it, I can do it. And so until I can't do it anymore, that's how I'm going to do it. So.
Is that your sole form of exercise?
No, I swim 3 days a week, which is great. And it's funny, swimming's another thing. I don't know if you have any friends that swim. There's far more people that swim than you would think swim. It's another, I'm going to call it another addictive sport. There are a lot of people that are real regulars as far as swimming is concerned. I took it up about 10 or 11 years ago, when the college offered it as a fringe benefit to employees and spouses. And I said, here's my chance. And it's made the difference. And couple that with going this route as far as the diet is concerned. I mean, it's double barrel to get yourself into good shape.
I really like your evolution of your swimming story, because I find swimming to be very difficult, and swimming seems very intimidating to me to go do laps in a pool. I can run for miles and miles and miles, but at the pool, swimming's hard. But you didn't start out swimming. You would just walk, right?
I swam, but not very far. To swim 25 yards up and 25 yards back was about all I had. But now I swim, I go a mile without stopping. And it's funny, I can go a mile swim without stopping. But then to run up a flight of stairs, you get tired running up a flight of stairs. It's really actually very interesting as to how that shakes out. I can't figure it out. But it's always funny, like when you see the folks, the winners of a marathon. They run 26 miles and they hit the finish line, and then they stand there and they're just standing there like this. They're not even gasping. It's a phenomenon. But it's the same thing with swimming. I'll finish 36 up and 36 back. And okay, time, 20-second rest, and then on to the next part of the exercise. So
Now, did you exercise this much when you were heavier?
no. Other than walking the golf course, no. No. So, and then, like I said, when the college offered it as a benefit to employee and spouses, that's when I took it up, and I'm certainly glad that I did, because it's made the difference. Because I was probably about 220 pounds at the time, so from starting that in 2011, down to the 185, what's that, 35 pounds. And
Wait, you were what when you started? 210?
about 220. And it's kind of interesting, like on Fridays, I always laugh on Fridays when I come home from the supermarket carrying 2 bags of groceries, walking up the stairs, and how heavy that feels. The sensation you you say, okay, that used to be my weight walking up those stairs. It's significant stuff.
Yeah, every pound overweight you are is an extra 4 pounds on your joints.
Yeah.
So that's over 100 pounds released from your joints.
Yeah. So it's interesting stuff. So anyways, the bell just rang. So we're coming down the home stretch on the first batch of eggplant. But again, here's what you can see. Here's what we've got. And I can tell you when these come out, they will shrink. And so they will be smaller because, of course, there's a lot of water in here in the eggplant itself. But we're gonna, kind of the moment of truth is going to come up upon us very, very quickly.
Tim, Christina wants to know if you're a hockey fan.
No. It's interesting. When I do watch hockey, I played hockey through high school, but one of the problems is that our habits are we get up so early because we go to bed so early. And kind of the joke is I stopped being a hockey fan. There used to be this guy that played for the Boston Bruins, a guy named Bob Orr.
Bobby Orr.
There you go.
Yep.
And I'll get it in a sec. But it's funny when you watch hockey. Hockey is really a great sport. I should be more of a hockey fan than I am. Hold on. All right.
Nice comment I saw a nice comment. Where did it go? From Karina. I love 3 loves, healthy Emmie, healthy dad, and healthy mommy. So interesting and funny. Thank you. It's very nice. Oh, when you get a chance, Tim, Dina and Eileen and others are saying that they love the idea of a weekly recipe menu. And could you go through like what days you make what?
Sure. We've talked about this. So
can I just pause?
Yeah.
That this is in the cookbook. So every one that you name, you can get each recipe in the cookbook, but go for it. Monday, okay. We have there's a very strict schedule here that is always adhered to. All
right. So I'm going to flip this and cook this about 3 or 4 more minutes just to get this a little crispier than it is right now. Then I'll come back with your answer.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I don't necessarily have a day for it, but I do the same basic recipes. And every third night is tostadas because that's my favorite meal. So I just do it every third night.
What kind of healthy tostadas do you use?
So I buy the ones that have a little bit of salt called Guerrero, and they have them everywhere, Walmart, and they're baked. But I also make ones without salt, like I'll buy like an organic Mi Rancho thin credible tortilla. So I have both, one with salt, one with no salt, and then I just make a delicious rice, and then I make like a bar where people can put on olives if they want, avocado, jalapeno, shredded lettuce, all the different salsas, and it's just our favorite meal, and that's why we have it every third night, really, just because we love it. And I batch cook the rice, and then it makes so much that I just pull it out every third night. That I love it. I only have to make it like once every 6 weeks. It's just so much easier when you automate your meals, in my opinion, because I'm busy and I do the same thing with the burgers. I make a big batch and then I only have to do it like every 4 to 6 weeks. I love it. I love that idea.
All right, before I answer your question, is your burger recipe, have you looked at mine? Is it similar or is it different?
I haven't looked at mine. Mine's really easy. It's only 5 ingredients. It's sweet potatoes, rice, broccoli, scallions, and oats. That's it.
Okay, so ours is actually very different. Our main ingredient are black beans.
I can't eat beans, that's why. But I do have a black bean burger recipe in a previous book. But I love burgers because you can just put them on. You can put them on salads, sandwiches, crumble them up. They're easy.
Yeah. Okay. So the answer to the question: Monday night is what we call Thanksgiving without the turkey. So think of all the things you have on Thanksgiving. So potatoes. We actually put in rice, lettuce, onions, beans, corn, carrots, celery, fermented red cabbage. Do you make fermented red cabbage?
I don't, but it sounds delicious.
It's in the cookbook, and I'm sure I'm forgetting something. And it's served. We serve it in a bowl, and it's just a big salad with all this different stuff. And
I'll say, AJ, you and Dr. Goldhammer would be very impressed because they both, healthy mommy and healthy dad, eat from a salad bowl that is a family sized salad bowl when they have this meal.
Love it.
Today.
All right.
Tuesday
is pasta. And again, the pasta sauce is in the book. And when I do work 1 day a week during the school year on Tuesdays, and Lisa works on Tuesdays. So that's a quick meal because it's just a matter of heating the water and reheating the pasta sauce, which I make in large batches. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday is leftover night, which is a combination of Mondays and Tuesdays dinner. So you can have pasta, you can have Thanksgiving without the turkey, you can have a little of both. It's up to you. And the good news, I'll back up to Monday, is because I work on Tuesday, that's my lunch on Tuesday, is the Thanksgiving without the lunch on Tuesday. Because
Thanksgiving without the turkey.
Yes, that too. Thursday, so then we get to Thursday is veggie burgers. The veggie burgers come out of the freezer on Wednesday evenings. And we usually have those with air fried sweet potato fries, which are just out of this world.
Let me say a note about that. So the two things to say. The first is that when they first got started on this, they were doing, the freezer fries that are in oil and all that. And then they redid this kitchen less than a year ago. And so they were without a kitchen for how long were you without a kitchen for?
3.5 months.
3.5 months, no kitchen. And they were able to completely uphold this lifestyle because I provided some things like an Instant Pot and an air fryer. So then the air fried potatoes were born and became a thing. So now the veggie burgers are with air fried potatoes, not the store-bought ones that have the oil and everything. But those are in the cookbook too. So that's Thursday.
Yeah. So then we come to Friday. And that's where it gets fun because it can be Mexi.
Short for Mexican.
Yeah. It can be, depending upon Lisa's work schedule, could be Mexican stew, could be wraps, tofu salad. Oh my gosh, tofu salad. Tofu salad's kind of like Thanksgiving without the turkey, but with air fried tofu, roasted red pepper slices, onions, mushrooms, rice, all this
All
good
the stuff that's in the cookbook, but Monday through Thursday are set. Those are always set. And then the weekends are rotating depending on Healthy Mummy's work schedule, because she works every other weekend at the hospital. And then also just if anything else is going on. So usually I know if my mom's not working that weekend, I'll send a text and say, what's the dinner for this Friday, so that I can know whether or not I'm gonna make an appearance. Pizza on the grill could be a weekend. Mexican is usually every other week because that is just so good.
Yeah. And that's been fun, because when we didn't have a kitchen, by default, we had to just throw the rice and the beans into the crock pot. And you know that, because we're up so darn early. I'm making that at 5:30 in the morning, and it cooks all day. So you know, when it's not warm out, the house smells great all day long. It's really a good meal. So and then there's just other meals during the weekend. That's really when we mix it up, depending upon what's going on, whether Lisa's working that particular weekend or if there's something else going on. It's really just a matter of what's going to fit the schedule, and when we make it work. We make it work well. So our first batch, in the essence of staying live so you can see, our first batch is done. And I think we have a guinea pig here that's going to be able to test it out for us.
Healthy Mummy?
Or somebody else.
No.
Well, I think he's going to get one. And we got the sauce cooking right now. So it's, and then we need pickles. Is pickles approved?
Well, you have a pickles recipe in the cookbook.
But you know,
So Healthy Dad makes his own pickles as well. And if I ask, he'll make me ones without salt. And he does the cabbage as well. So he grows
I'm confused. Wait a second. He said at the beginning he's on medicine for high blood pressure and he's still eating salt.
very, very, very little.
Yeah, he
salt.
really is very
I have a pickle with my burger on Thursday. Is that okay?
You're fine. It's okay. Whatever you want is okay. I just want you to know I listen. So
It's low sodium chickpeas. So I'm very cognizant of.
hey, I'm just ragging on you, Tim.
Good. Good.
What people are asking what your favorite meal is, because you mentioned a lot of them, and Emmie, they want to know yours as well.
Emmy will answer that question. It's unanimous. Go ahead.
Mexi?
I thought it would be.
Are you my favorite meal?
I thought it would be
Both of your favorite. Both of you. They want to know each of your favorite meal.
My favorite is tofu ginger.
Yeah. Tofu ginger is. Yeah, it's tofu ginger because it's called tofu ginger because we didn't know what else to call it, and it's got air fried tofu, artichoke hearts, mushrooms, peppers, and 2 kinds of onions, and it all goes in together, and it's flavored with ginger, liquid aminos, and red pepper flakes. So it really has a bite to it, but not overly. But just the whole thing, it works. So we don't have it that often. So that's why, as I said in the book, we don't have it that often. So it stays at the top of the list.
Yeah, he holds it over my head. I ask for it all the time, and he says, no, special occasions only.
Yeah.
That's
it's
funny.
like a song. If you hear a song too many times, you start to get sick of it. So.
And I have the recipe, in the recipe book, but it's just not the same. He has the magic ingredient of love.
Sweetheart.
Mom,
Emmie, do you do a similar weekly menu, like certain things on certain days?
I don't. I like to be a bit more intuitive with what my body is asking for. That's where masculine versus feminine energy comes in. Healthy Dad has a lot of masculine energy and likes things to be very regimented. And he'll do his grocery shopping every Friday morning, and things are planned way far in advance. I like to be sort of more day to day. What is my body asking for? What does my body need? So maybe that's the difference between men and women.
Tim, what do you eat for breakfast and lunch?
I have partially to Emmy's chagrin, whole wheat peanut butter toast with flaxseed and cinnamon, and I have it every morning. And then I have that with shredded wheat and orange juice, and I do drink coffee. And lunch tends to be one of the leftover meals, whatever it happens to be it Thanksgiving without the turkey, pasta, Mexican stew. It's not that I go anywhere or do anything. So yeah, there you go. Plate it up.
Here it is.
That looks like a restaurant made it.
All right, so we're gonna recruit Healthy Mom.
Yep.
Yeah,
We have
Healthy
a
Mom's
special
coming in.
guest to do the taste test. This is legit. Yeah, fork and knife for this.
All right.
Here she is. She didn't know she was gonna be on camera.
Hi, nice to see you again.
So we're gonna make a second one for Emmy's friend, whose name remains nameless. So, but because her program's called Slim on Starch, we'll just refer to that person as Slim.
He's playing with fire.
I mean, the people are asking where you got the buns or the baguettes.
That is in the Healthy Dad Cookbook as well, a bread recipe.
Wow.
Yes.
All right, here you go.
All right, so Healthy Mom's gonna do the taste test.
Have a seat.
We shall see.
Wow, she's classy. She uses a knife and fork. I'd just be picking it up and shoving it in.
Just like Jerry Seinfeld. All right.
Mom.
So, yeah, we're gonna plate up another one for the other special guest, and but really, that's kind of what goes on. And what you didn't see is that there's a lot of the prep work of this first particular tray. And this stuff, again, you asked me what I have for lunch. With any luck, I'm having this for lunch tomorrow if there's any left over. But sometimes there is, and sometimes there isn't. Mom didn't even take that with her.
Well, she wants to leave for the presentation.
Oh,
We're gonna eat together, right?
oh, okay. Well, we will. But yeah, that's kind of it. So again, lunch is whatever happens to be hanging around from the night before, and I'm not afraid to mix and match things, and it's all good. It's all good stuff. I'm not out at McDonald's or.
Yeah, well, you're amazing. You should have your own channel. I love watching you.
Well, I think Emmy's working on her website, so when she gets to the point of having a Healthy Mom and a Healthy Dad page, that may be what it evolves into, and that would be fine, with some updates and new recipes that may come our way, because when like it's funny because tofu ginger, the story behind that, we went to a family dinner, just a informal get together, and they had this, I'm going to call it a concoction of things with tofu and with ginger, and we kind of stole it and just added on to it, and they created this monster which gets rave reviews. So whatever the next tofu ginger comes our way, I'll steal it and claim it as my own.
Great. Hey, Tim, Dina wants to know, do you eat like some of the higher fat plant fats like nuts, seeds, avocado, or do you avoid them?
I eat regular peanuts, almonds. I'm not an avocado kind of guy.
Yeah, but you have peanut butter every morning, and then when you make your salads, you do the
just the regular unsalted peanuts. Those and raisins. I don't know if raisins count or not. But.
That's not another fat, but more calorically dense. I will say though, Healthy Dad, because you were in an overweight body for such a long time, people got very used to seeing him like that. So then when he lost all this weight, people said, oh my gosh, are you sick? You look so thin. And so he sort of likes to be on the higher end of the healthy BMI. So we keep in those overt fats. Otherwise, he looks too gaunt.
Yes, my mother, God rest her soul, told me I was gaunt. So, when it's kind of somewhere in between.
He kind of likes to have a little more on him, so we keep those in.
Yeah. So, all right.
Oh, that looks delicious. What kind of salad dressings do you use on your salads, Tim?
In the book, seriously, in the book is whole stuff that was in the refrigerator. So,
well, the backstory is they used to make these beautiful, gorgeous salads, all these amazing ingredients, vegetables. It was, the size to feed a family. And then he would take out Ken's dressing and put Ken's dressing on it. And I said, Dad, what are you doing? That defeats the whole purpose. And then after a while, he eventually made his own, which, Dad, we don't have to do this right this
yeah. It's just my mentality.
I know.
So as far as salad dressing, it's mainly water, cut with about a third balsamic vinegar, some liquid aminos, and then like a cayenne pepper hot sauce. And it's just those ingredients. So there's no oil. And Lisa, who was using some of that other stuff, ran out, and it was her only option. And now it's the option. So again, it's in the cookbook.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you're able to taste the food and not the oil. So it really works.
Nice. People are asking where you live. I mean, not your exact address, but you sound like you live in Boston.
Well, yeah, just west of Boston.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have an accent at all.
No, so it's generational. Some of my friends, if you as a kid had a Boston accent, you'd be put in speech therapy at school so that you wouldn't have it anymore. So that is why people in my generation, although we grew up he grew up, a few minutes down the road, why I don't have one is because in school they make sure that you don't have one.
Right. And people are asking if you have an ebook. Your cookbooks are all virtual ebooks, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, it might be fun if we have both your parents come back and they do. I've done this on the show before. They do an Iron Chef with each other.
Throw down. It's interesting. We'd have to find something that we both make. We just make different things. I mean, we could always give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the way it's worked is what we've done is Emmie has to be really fair, and I secretly tell her the 3 ingredients, and she sets up 2 stations, and then you both get the exact same ingredients, and you have to make something and at the same time when we do a split screen.
And see which is better.
Yeah, we can book you for that in the fall if you like. And we've done it before with chefs and other people. We've had a whole week. It's just for fun. And it's interesting to see the people's interpretation. And we don't try to trick you with weird ingredients. It's things that you already eat. It's just you guys have, like the 30 minutes or 45 minutes to put it together.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. And, it's funny you talk about weird ingredients. What I'll say is, and if you see it in the book or what you see here, there's nothing weird. There's no fake this or no fake that. It's all, if you're having eggplant, it's eggplant. If you're having tofu, it's tofu. Tofu is about as crazy as I go. So I'm not into imitation cheese or other kind of stuff. It doesn't interest me. I've found where I can be, and it keeps me satisfied. That's all. So it's nothing more exotic than that.
That's great. Well, this was a great presentation. I'm so happy and honored that you did it. You're just delightful.
Thank you. Thank you again for having us.
Of course. And Emmie, I was really serious. Maybe come back and then, we'd have to, maybe you and your 2 brothers can be the taste testers and see.
Tell us another.
Be careful what you wish for. Right. Oh gosh. All right. Any other questions?
I'm not seeing any, but that this is wonderful that people are now they understand these are ebooks and they can, and so maybe just talk about the different books because there's more than one. Maybe that would be a good thing to answer.
So there's the Healthy Dad Cookbook, which features all the recipes we were talking about today. If you watch my channel, then you would have seen the Healthy Mummy series where I had my mom go through my program and we got her cholesterol down and she lost weight. And throughout that journey, she developed the recipes that she eats every day now. And so those are in the Healthy Mummy cookbook. And then I have a Healthy Desserts cookbook. So those are the 3 cookbooks that are available.
Nice. Well, that is fantastic. And where do people follow you the most, Emmie? Do you like YouTube, Instagram? Where do you like to tell people to go?
YouTube is my home. YouTube is my favorite place because you get to know me and you get to see them all the time versus Instagram and TikTok. You know, I use them, but I don't feel as connected to the audience there, whereas you really get a look into my life in YouTube. So YouTube is my favorite.
Me too. Well, great. Well, Tim, you maybe don't know this. Well, maybe your wife told you, but you get 2 free bottles of vinegar just for being on the show.
Dan, thank you very much.
I'm going to yeah.
That usually we tend to put those on our veggie burgers.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to email you right after the show. Well, happy Father's Day, Tim, and to everyone. It was a great presentation. Thanks so much.
And go Red Sox.
Okay, absolutely. Take care. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back in 2 hours when you will meet the winner of the Nutrimilk machine, the person whose life was changed by watching Chef AJ Live. You're going to meet all the contestants and you can even vote who you think is going to win. Take care, everyone. Bye, Tim. Bye, Emmie.